The text came on a Tuesday afternoon. Dad. Family dinner Friday night. Morton's Steakhouse. 7 p.m., your brother's treating. Be there. Not an invitation. A command. Morton's. The kind of place where appetizers cost more than my weekly grocery budget. My brother Connor didn't invite me to things. Ever. We weren't close. Not since he married Victoria 3 years ago and decided I wasn't successful enough to associate with. But Dad was asking. So I'd show up. Me. Sounds good. Dad. Dress nice. It's a classy place. I should explain the dynamic. I'm 32. Software developer. Decent money. Comfortable. Connor is 35. Investment banker. Obscene money. Weekend house in the Hamptons. Talks about his Tesla like it's a Honda. Growing up, we were equal. But somewhere along the way, Connor became the golden child and I became, whatever I am, the forgettable one. Mom used to balance it. Made sure we both got attention. But Mom died 2 years ago. And without her, everything shifted. Dad started spending more time with Connor. Talking about Connor's achievements like they were his own. Looking at me like I was a participation trophy. And Victoria? Connor's wife? She looked at me like I was something she'd stepped in. Old money. Boarding school in Switzerland. Met Connor at a charity gala. At their wedding, she seated me at table 17. In the back. Next to Connor's college roommate who spent the whole reception talking about crypto. So yeah? Family dinner at Morton's. This would be interesting. Friday came. Best dress shirt. Navy blue. Good khakis. Funeral shoes. I drove to the restaurant. Parked 3 blocks away because valet was $30. Walked in at 6:58 p.m. The hostess looked at me like I'd wandered in from a bus station. Can I help you? Meeting my family? Reservation under Connor Walsh. Her expression changed immediately. Of course. Right this way. She led me past tables of people in expensive suits. Past someone cutting into a steak the size of a football. Corner booth. Prime location. Dad was there. Suit and tie. Connor in a custom suit with a watch that probably cost more than my rent. Victoria in a dress that screamed. Personal shopper. They looked up. Dad smiled. There he is. I slid in next to Victoria. She shifted away slightly. You look nice, Dad said. Meaning I didn't. Connor was on his phone. Glad you could make it. Been crazy busy. A waiter appeared. Can I start you with drinks? We'll have the Camus, Connor said. Special selection. $200 wine. And for you, sir? The waiter looked at me. Water's fine. Victoria made a small sound. Almost a scoff. You sure? Dad asked. Connor's treating. But the way he said it made it clear I shouldn't. Water's good. Connor leaned back. So, how's work? Still doing the computer thing? The computer thing. Like I fix printers at Best Buy. Going well. Just finished a major project. Nice. Must be stable. Steady paycheck. He exchanged a look with Victoria. Not everyone's cut out for high-risk careers. There it was. The dig. The waiter returned with wine. Poured for everyone but me. Should we order? Dad asked. Connor picked up his menu. I'm thinking the ribeye. 48 ounces. Rare. 3 pounds of steak. $400. Victoria hummed. Filet and lobster. Surf and turf. Dad nodded. New York strip. Medium rare. They looked at me. I scanned the menu. Everything was expensive. Cheapest entree was $55. The salmon looks good, I said. $70. Middle of the road. Connor put down his menu. Actually, we should mention something. Victoria and I are celebrating tonight. Big promotion. 7-figure deal. So we're ordering for ourselves. I blinked. Okay? We didn't order for you, Dad said. Didn't want to presume. Wait. I thought Connor was treating? He is. Victoria said, smiling. For the family celebration. The three of us. Oh. They'd invited me to a family dinner. But I wasn't part of the family being celebrated. So I'm paying for myself. We'll split it, Dad said quickly. At the end. Fairly. Connor flagged the waiter. We're ready. He ordered his ribeye. Added truffle butter. Sides of lobster mac and Brussels sprouts. Victoria ordered surf and turf. Extra lobster. Dad ordered his strip. Loaded baked potato. Creamed spinach. They looked at me. I'll just. I closed the menu. The bread basket is fine. Victoria's eyebrows shot up. The bread basket? I'm not that hungry. But you came all the way here, Dad said. For the company. Connor laughed. You're joking. I'm good with bread. The waiter shifted. Sir, the bread basket is complimentary. Perfect. Then that's what I'll have. Victoria leaned forward. You can't just eat bread. It's what I want. This is embarrassing. She hissed to Connor. He shrugged. If he wants bread, let him have bread. After the waiter left, Victoria turned to me. You should be grateful you're even invited to something like this. I smiled. Said nothing. Because she was right. Not everyone got to eat at Morton's. But apparently either was I. I was eating bread while my family celebrated without me. The food came. Connor's steak arrived on a platter. Massive. Obscene. Victoria's surf and turf looked like a magazine photo. Dad's strip was easily 16 ounces. I had bread. Sourdough. Wheat. Herb rolls. And butter. Extra butter. I took a roll. Buttered it. Took a bite. Good bread. Really good. But still just bread. Connor cut into his steak. Blood red. Perfect. Want to try some? He asked. Felt like a test. I'm good. He shrugged. Ate it himself. Made an exaggerated pleasure sound. They ate. And ate. Connor finished maybe a third. Victoria picked at hers. Dad left half. I finished my bread. Sat there watching them waste $400 of food. They ordered dessert. Chocolate lava cake. Creme brulee. I declined. Finally, the waiter brought the check. Placed it in the center. Nobody reached for it. Then Dad cleared his throat. So, should we split this fairly? Fairly? Yeah. Divide it up. Everyone pays their share. I pulled the check over. Opened it. $1,247. I scanned the items. Connor's steak, $400. Victoria's surf and turf, $145. Dad's steak, $89. Appetizers. Sides. Wine. Desserts. And at the bottom, bread basket, complimentary. So, Connor said. 4 ways? About $300 each. $300. For bread. Let me understand, I said slowly. You want to split $1,200 4 ways. Fairly, Dad emphasized. We're family. I ate bread. And you enjoyed a nice evening, Victoria added. At an exclusive restaurant. I ate bread. Connor sighed. When you go out to dinner, you split the bill. That's how it works. When everyone orders, sure. I ordered bread. Which was complimentary, Dad said. So you didn't pay for anything. So you want me to pay $300 to watch you eat? For being part of the family dinner, Dad corrected. I looked at each of them. Then I reached for my wallet. Pulled out $3. 3 ones. Set them on the table. There. That's for the bread. You 3 split the rest. Connor's face went white. Then red. You're joking. You wanted fair. Bread is complimentary. But I'll throw in $3 for the butter. Victoria's mouth fell open. You can't be serious. The bill is itemized. Show me where I'm wrong. What did I eat that cost $300? Dad started to speak. Stopped. It's about principle. I agree. You pay for what you eat. I ate $3 of butter. You ate $1,200 of steak. I stood up. Put on my jacket. Thank you for the invitation. And Connor? Congratulations on your promotion. Then I walked out. Left them with a $1,200 bill and $3 on the table. My phone started buzzing before I got to my car. I didn't answer. Just drove home with the windows down, radio up. For the first time in years, I felt no guilt about setting a boundary. They wanted fare? Fare was $3 for bread. And that was exactly what they got. I made it home before the real onslaught started. My phone had been buzzing the entire drive. I'd ignored it. Let it vibrate itself into silence on the passenger seat while I drove with the windows down and classic rock turned up loud enough to drown out thought. But once I was inside my apartment, door locked, shoes off, the reality of what I'd just done hit me. I'd walked out on a family dinner. Left them with a $1,200 bill. Put $3 on the table like it was a tip for bad service. Part of me felt guilty. The part that had been trained since childhood to keep the peace. To be the easy one. The low-maintenance one. But a bigger part felt vindicated. They'd invited me to watch them eat. Expected me to pay $300 for bread and the privilege of their company. And I'd said no. I poured myself a drink. Whiskey. Neat. Sat on my couch and finally looked at my phone. 43 missed calls. 67 text messages. I took a sip and started reading. Connor. What the hell was that? Connor. You seriously just walked out? Connor. Do you know how embarrassing that was? Connor. Call me back right now. Dad. That was uncalled for. Dad. We need to talk about this. Dad. Your brother is very upset. Victoria. Unbelievable. Absolutely classless. Victoria. Don't expect any more invitations. That one almost made me laugh. Like I'd be devastated to miss future opportunities to eat bread while they gorged themselves. I kept scrolling. Connor. Dad had to cover your share. Connor. You owe him $300. Connor. This is so typical of you. I stopped at that one. Typical of me. What did that even mean? This was the first time I'd ever stood up to them. More messages. Dad. Very disappointed in your behavior tonight. Dad. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Victoria. Connor shouldn't have invited you. I told him you'd ruin it. That stung more than I expected. She told him I'd ruin it. Which meant they'd discussed whether to invite me at all. And Connor had probably said something like, we have to. And Victoria had said, fine, but don't blame me when he embarrasses us. I put down my phone. Finished my drink. Poured another. My phone rang. Connor. Again. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later he called again. And again. On the fourth call I answered. What? What? His voice was sharp. Angry. What? Are you seriously asking me what? Yeah. I'm asking. You walked out. You left us with the entire bill. No. I left you with your bill. I paid for my bread. $3. You left $3. That's what bread costs. Actually, bread was free. I was being generous with the butter. I heard him take a breath. Trying to control himself. This isn't funny. I'm not laughing. Dad had to pay your share. $300. You owe him. I don't owe him anything. I ate bread. Complimentary bread. You were part of the dinner. Was I? Because from where I was sitting, I was an audience member. You three had dinner. I had bread. Those aren't the same thing. This is ridiculous. When you go out to eat with people, you split the bill. When you go out to eat with people, you order food. I wasn't invited to order food. Remember? We didn't order for you. Your words. Silence on the other end. Then, that's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? I meant we were celebrating. Victoria and I. We wanted to order for ourselves. For the occasion. Cool. So you ordered for yourselves. And I ordered for myself. Bread. Problem solved. You're being deliberately obtuse. I'm being accurate. He exhaled loudly. Look! Victoria is pissed. Dad is pissed. You made us all look bad. I made you look bad by not paying $300 for food I didn't eat. You made us look bad by walking out of Morton's like some kind of... He stopped himself. Like what? Nothing. No, say it. Like what? Like you couldn't afford it. There it was. The real issue. I can afford it, Connor. I just chose not to pay for something I didn't consume. That's called being financially responsible. That's called being cheap. The word hung between us. Cheap. You think I'm cheap because I won't subsidize your $400 steak? I think you're cheap because you showed up to a nice restaurant and ordered bread. Do you know how that looked? Victoria's mortified. She has a reputation at that place. Then maybe she shouldn't have invited the cheap brother. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. You absolutely did. I stood up, pacing now. Let me ask you something. When you invited me to dinner, what did you think was going to happen? I thought we'd have a nice family meal. Did you plan to pay for me? Silence. Connor. Did you plan to pay for my meal? I was paying for the celebration dinner. For Victoria and me. So no. You invited me to a restaurant where the cheapest thing costs $50, told me you were treating, then revealed I was paying for myself. And you're surprised I ordered bread? You could have ordered something reasonable. I ordered something I could afford without feeling like an idiot for subsidizing your celebration. That's not. And then, after watching you three eat $1,000 of food, you wanted me to pay $300 for the privilege of being there. For eating bread. And you're calling me cheap? More silence. You owe Dad $300, he said finally. Quieter. He covered you. I didn't ask him to. He's family. He wasn't going to let you stiff the restaurant. I wasn't stiffing anyone. I left payment for what I consumed. $3 isn't payment. It's exactly what bread and butter cost. You're being ridiculous. I'm being consistent. You're being entitled. I heard Victoria in the background. Is he being difficult? Connor covered the phone, but I still heard him say, What do you think? Then back to me. Look. Just Venmo Dad the money. We can move past this. No. What do you mean, no? I mean no. I'm not paying $300 for bread. If Dad wants to be reimbursed for covering a bill I didn't agree to pay, he can send me an itemized request for $3. Connor laughed. But it wasn't a friendly laugh. You're unbelievable. You know that? I've been told. Don't expect to be invited to anything else. Trust me. I won't. He hung up. I stood there holding my phone, heart pounding, and waited for the guilt to hit. It didn't. Instead, I felt lighter. For the first time in years, I'd set a boundary with my family. And I'd stuck to it. My phone buzzed. Text from Dad. We need to talk. Can you come by tomorrow? I stared at that message. Thought about driving to his house. Sitting in his living room. Listening to him explain why I was wrong and should apologize and pay Connor back. I typed, I don't think that's a good idea right now. His response came fast. I'm disappointed in you. I almost typed, I'm disappointed in you too, but deleted it. Instead, I understand. I'm sorry you feel that way. Dad, you embarrassed your brother. On his celebration night. Me. He invited me to a celebration dinner where I wasn't part of the celebration. That's on him. Dad, you could have handled it better. Me. So could he. Dad, you're being stubborn. Me. I'm being consistent. Dad, this isn't over. Me. I think it is. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Made myself dinner. Nothing fancy. Pasta with sauce from a jar. Garlic bread. The garlic bread felt like a statement. That night I couldn't sleep. Kept replaying the dinner. Connor's face when I put down $3. Victoria's expression. Dad's uncomfortable silence. Around 2 a.m. I got up. Opened my laptop. Started typing. Not sure why. Maybe I needed to process it. Maybe I needed to document it before I started second-guessing myself. I wrote down everything. The invitation. The restaurant. The "we didn't order for you" moment. Victoria's "be grateful" comment. The bill. The $3. When I finished, it was 4 a.m. I read it back. It sounded insane. But it had happened. I posted it to Reddit. r/am@asshole. Changed the names. Hit submit before I could overthink it. Then I finally fell asleep. I woke up to 300 notifications. My post had blown up overnight. Thousands of upvotes. Hundreds of comments. I scrolled through them, still half asleep. NTA. They invited you to watch them eat, then expected you to pay. That's insane. The audacity to call it splitting fairly when you ate bread. Your brother spent $400 on a steak and expected you to subsidize it? No. Victoria saying "be grateful you're invited" told you everything. You were decoration. The $3 was chef's kiss. Perfectly calculated. A few said I was the asshole for walking out. For embarrassing them. For being petty. But the overwhelming majority said what I'd been thinking. They tried to scam me. And I'd called them on it. My phone rang. Not Connor. Not Dad. My Aunt Linda. Mom's sister. I answered cautiously. Hello? I heard about last night. Her voice was careful. Neutral. Word travels fast. Connor called me this morning. Very upset. Said you walked out on a family dinner? That's one way to describe it. Want to tell me your side? So I did. The whole thing. The invitation. The bread. The bill. The $3. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she laughed. Actually laughed. I'm sorry, she said. I shouldn't laugh. But the image of you putting $3 on the table and walking out. You don't think I was wrong? Wrong? Honey, I think you were overdue. Your brother's been walking all over you for years. So has your father. That surprised me. You think so? I know so. Your mother used to worry about it. Said Connor got all the attention and you got all the expectations. My chest tightened. Mom said that? All the time. She tried to balance it. But after she died. Linda sighed. I'm not surprised this happened. I'm just surprised it took this long. Dad's mad? Says I embarrassed Connor? Your father covered a $300 bill for food you didn't eat. He's mad at himself for enabling it. He's just redirecting at you. Connor says I owe him the money? Connor can go to hell. I almost dropped my phone. Aunt Linda didn't swear. Sorry, she said. But it's true. He invited you to an expensive restaurant. Told you he was treating. Then revealed you weren't included. Then expected you to pay anyway. That's not family. That's a con. Victoria says I'm classless? Victoria married into money and thinks that makes her classy. It doesn't. You know what's classy? Paying for what you eat. Which is exactly what you did. I felt something loosen in my chest. Thanks, Aunt Linda. Don't thank me. Just don't back down. You set a boundary. That's healthy. Don't let them guilt you into crossing it. After we hung up, I felt better. Not completely okay. But better. At least one person in the family got it. My phone buzzed. Connor again. Dad's lawyer says what you did could be considered theft of services. I stared at that message. Then typed back. Tell Dad's lawyer I paid for my services. $3. Itemized receipt available upon request. His response. You're going to regret this. Me. I already don't. I blocked his number. Then Victoria's. Then Dad's. Not forever. Maybe. But for now. I needed space. And they needed to sit with the consequences of trying to make me pay for a celebration I wasn't part of. My phone buzzed one more time. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me. Hello? Is this the bread guy? I blinked. What? From Reddit. The Morton's Steakhouse thing. Is this you? Oh no. How did you get this number? I'm a friend of your brother's wife. Victoria. She's been texting people about what a jerk you are. Sent screenshots. Someone recognized the story from Reddit. My stomach dropped. Great. I just wanted to say, you're a legend. The $3? Perfect. Don't let them gaslight you. Then they hung up. I sat there, phone in hand, and realized something. This wasn't going away. The story was out there now. On Reddit. In Victoria's text threads. Spreading through their social circle. And I had a choice. Back down. Apologize. Pay the $300 and let it fade. Or stand my ground. Let them be mad. Except that some relationships weren't worth the price of admission. I thought about my mom. About what Aunt Linda said. About the years of being second to Connor. Of being expected to be grateful for scraps while he got the feast. Then I opened my phone and typed one more message. To the family group chat I was still technically in. For anyone confused, I paid for what I ate. $3 for butter. You all paid for what you ate. $1, $200 for steak and wine. That's how bills work. If that's embarrassing, maybe reconsider your ordering choices next time. Then I left the group chat. And I slept better than I had in years. A week passed. No calls. No texts. Silence. It was weirdly peaceful. I went to work. I came home. I made my own food. Watched my own shows. Laughed at my own jokes. And every now and then I checked Reddit. The post had exploded. Over 50,000 upvotes. People started tagging it in other threads. Memes were made. One of me leaving Morton's with $3 legend in bold impact font. Some guy even edited a movie poster. The breadwinner, based on a true dinner. I wasn't sure if I should be embarrassed or proud. I settled somewhere in the middle. Then came the emails. BuzzFeed wanted permission to publish the story. A podcast host reached out. Would love to interview you. We're doing a series on petty justice stories. A local radio DJ emailed. Can we read this on air during our morning drive segment? Absolute gold. I didn't answer any of them at first. But then I saw one subject line that stopped me. I used to be the other sibling too, thank you. It was from a stranger. A woman in her 40s. She'd read the story, recognized herself in it, and wrote to say it made her feel less alone. That standing your ground didn't make you selfish, it made you visible. That message hit me harder than anything else. I replied. Said thank you. Said I understood. And then I replied to the podcast host too. 2 days later, the interview aired. We kept it anonymous. Just the bread guy. But the reaction was wild. People started messaging me with their own versions of the story. Dinners where they were sidelined. Events where they were expected to pay for privilege. Turns out, a lot of people have siblings like Connor. The next text came from a number I didn't have saved. Hey. It's Chelsea. From work. So, are you the bread guy? I blinked. Chelsea. Marketing team. Same building. Always nice, always smiling in the elevator. Because if you are, I have questions. Also maybe a coffee? I laughed. Actually laughed. Yes. I am the bread guy. And coffee sounds great. That Friday, exactly 1 week after the steakhouse disaster, I found myself at a cafe. Across from Chelsea. She stirred her iced latte. You really brought bread justice to the masses. I shrugged. Didn't plan on it. Just reached a breaking point. I get it. You didn't just draw a line. You carved it in sourdough. We laughed. Talked. Stayed for an hour. Then 2. As we were leaving, she paused. I'm glad you stood up for yourself. And for the record? Anyone who thinks $3 for butter is outrageous has never valued dignity. I didn't say anything. Just smiled. That night, I opened my laptop again. Started writing. Not for Reddit. Not for revenge. Just writing. My story. Other stories. Slices of life. Turns out, a lot can happen after a breadbasket. Turns out, setting boundaries doesn't close doors, sometimes it opens the right ones. 3 months later, I got a wedding invitation. Not Connor's. Not Victoria's. Mine. Just kidding. but Chelsea and I were still seeing each other. She called me Bread Guy as a pet name, and I let her. Connor sent one more text weeks later. Still think you overreacted. But I get it now. Sort of. I never replied. I didn't need to. Because sometimes, the best closure isn't a dramatic confrontation. Sometimes it's garlic bread and silence. And knowing that the next time someone asks you to pay for their steak with your self-respect, you'll smile, reach for your wallet, and leave $3 for the butter.